USA Today Sports' latest database of college football coaches' salaries is out. Leading the way is Georgia's Kirby Smart, followed by Ohio State's Ryan Day, USC's Lincoln Riley, and Clemson's Dabo Swinney. All of these coaches are making at least $11 million in total compensation. So, Steve, what is your biggest takeaway from the latest database of college football coaches' salaries?
That prices continue to go up. I mean, that's been the ongoing thing from the start of this. We've started doing this data in 2006, and we've done it every year since, except for one. And just the ongoing trend all the time in this is that prices for the coaches continue to go up. The market gets set by the top number, and then everybody gets dragged higher. And that's what's been going on since 2006, and I don't see anything stopping it.
Paul, who do you think are the most overpaid coaches on this salary database?
Yeah, I can pinpoint three guys, and they're the three guys that unsurprisingly you find at the top of those hot seat lists at this point of the year. That's Hugh Freeze at Auburn, it's Billy Napier at Florida, it's Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. And each of these coaches are making at least $6.7 million in total compensation this year, with, I think, to be kind, unrealized expectations. Certainly for Billy Napier, he's the least successful Florida coach of the modern era. Luke Fickell is overseeing Wisconsin's worst two-year run in decades. And Hugh Freeze simply, despite his track record, hasn't gotten Auburn off the ground. So that's a very easy top three when you look at the most overpaid coaches in college football.
What about on the other side? Who seems like they might be underpaid based on the database?
Yeah, this one's always fun because you can pick a lot of guys, certainly on the group of five level, who are making like $1 million and doing a lot of great things. One guy who's not making $1 million is actually making over $8 million, but nonetheless is an incredible deal, is Curt Cignetti at Indiana. If you know college football at all, you know Indiana has been a bottom feeder for about a century, until last September when Cignetti took over. He's 16-2 as the head coach, made the playoff last year, could very well make it again this year. So despite making more than $8 million, it's hard to argue against him being underpaid at this point.
There are some quirky contract incentives, some unique contract incentives that come out every year. Steve, what are some of the more unique contract incentives this year based on the coaches' salaries?
Well, to me, one of the sort of the more interesting contract incentives is that Brian Kelly, who's the coach at LSU, gets $500,000 if LSU's team plays in any bowl game, which is sort of a baseline expectation at LSU. I mean, if the team isn't playing in a bowl game, there are going to be much bigger problems than whether or not Brian Kelly is getting a $500,000 bonus for that. And for most coaches, getting into a bowl game of just sort of any sort of basic run-of-the-mill bowl game, I mean, you have coaches in the Power Four and in that neighborhood who get paid $25,000 bonus for that kind of achievement. So for Kelly, I mean, this is sort of an expectation, and it, for all intents and purposes, it's part of his base compensation. There are other kinds of things that are out there that are sort of unique to particular schools and situations. Mark Carney, who's the interim head coach this year at Kent State, he would get paid $5,000 if they beat Akron. There are a number of other coaches who have specific bonuses for beating particular teams. Eddie George, who's in his first year as Bowling Green's coach, the former NFL running back, he could get a $5,000 bonus if Bowling Green has the Mid-American Conference Player of the Year. And Kyle Whittingham, the coach, longtime coach at Utah, has some really interesting stuff in his contract, just in terms of his bonuses. As of, for instance, he gets $15,000 if Utah cracks the top 25 at any point during the season. And that bonus goes up if they're in the final rankings or they're in the CFP rankings as the year goes along. The other bonus that Whittingham can get is a budget-based bonus. And I believe he's the only coach who has this. If Utah's football program stays within its budget each year, he gets a $25,000 bonus. The big stuff for Whittingham, though, is an ongoing, and it's been a renegotiated arrangement where when he retires as Utah's coach, he would move into a role as a special assistant to the athletics director. And this program for him has been in the contract for a long time, and it's been renegotiated multiple times. Under the current setup that was set up after last season, he would go into this role for 2 years, and for each of those 2 years, he would be paid $3.45 million for each year. And for the work that he would be doing in this consultant role, he would have to work no more than 10 hours a week, which isn't bad. Now, I mean, Kyle Whittingham has done a lot of good stuff for the University of Utah over the years, but that's a pretty nifty little retirement program.
Colorado football coach Deion Sanders got a huge raise this year. Steve, what do you think that means for him and for Colorado?
Well, for Dion, it's not bad to get like a $4 million pay increase year over year. He was scheduled to make 5.9 million for this season under his prior contract terms. They're now paying him on an annualized basis $10 million. That figure went into effect part of the way through his contract year. So as his contract year sets up, he's making a little less than 10 million, but on a going forward basis, that's what he'll be making. And he has guaranteed increases on that going forward. I mean, for University of Colorado, the interesting question is, how are they paying for this? And we've done quite a bit of reporting and made efforts to try to find out about this from the university. And to this point, they haven't been very forthcoming about where this money is coming from, where their athletics department revenues are going to be. Because don't forget that in addition to paying Sanders this increase, they're now paying the players, and they had pledged to pay athletes at the university, not just in football, but across the board, somewhere in the neighborhood of $20.5 million, working within the terms of the House settlement that was going into effect across the NCAA. So there's some significant increased costs for the school with Sanders, and they've assured him of more money going forward. So the interesting question for the school is going to be, how does this work? And, does Deion Sanders continue to work at Colorado? And how does all this work out financially for them?